This video will have 3 stories. Enjoy.
Ida for not reimbursing my friend for an ingredient I used for dinner. So the gist of things is that I, am 28, have a friend, F32, who I meet up with around once a week for dinner. This will usually be at my home, since she doesn't have much space at hers, and because I will be the one cooking. I love cooking, have been doing it since I was 6, and I'll usually prepare us dinner with a mix of pantry staples and a few things I'll add into my weekly grocery shop. It's a nice little break in the week, and we both really enjoy it. The issue arose when my friend contacted me and told me they would have other friends visiting from abroad on the day we were set to have dinner. She wanted to hang out with them, but also wanted to make our dinner. I suggested if they were open to the idea, they could come with her and I would cook for all 4 of us. She spoke to them, and they agreed. On the day of, I asked my friend if they had any requests. She asked for a local dish that comes with a steak topping, baked Japanese curry rice with steak if anyone is curious, and I said that would be fine. I would get the cheese if the 3 of them could get the steak they wanted for themselves. I myself am vegetarian, but I don't mind cooking meat for guests. She agrees. I also give her some suggestions for what she can ask for in Japanese to get a good, mid-priced cut of steak. When they arrive, I'm already doing my prep. My friend hands me the steak, and I notice it's a very high-quality one, practically coated in marbling. I mention how surprised I am, and she laughs it off saying that the assistant she spoke to recommended it as a very good cut. I carry on cooking. We end up having a great dinner. Everyone was very complimentary about the food and I opened some wine I'd bought for the dinner too. We ended up chatting until quite late before everyone left. Things got a little awkward after they left. I received a text from my friend saying they'd all enjoyed the dinner, and asking me to transfer her around $9,500, $64, for the steaks. I refused, pointing out that I hadn't eaten any, and that I'd paid for everything else. She then said that I should have told her I wouldn't be willing to include the steaks in the dinner and prepared something else, and she wouldn't have bought them as her finances were tight at the moment. To me, this doesn't really hold water. Firstly because she's aware I'm a vegetarian and wouldn't include steaks unless asked, but more so because she specifically bought a more expensive cut of steak than my recommendation, which feels very presumptive if she truly believed I was paying for it. However, responses from her and some of our friends have been mixed. Some support me, whereas others highlight that she's been struggling financially, and that it's unfair to spring a charge on her now after I covered the cost for all of our previous dinners, making her expectations reasonable. A few have also cited the maxim of the person who extends the invitation pays, which I'm not very familiar with, but is apparently a thing. So, Ida for not paying this back? Ida for banning my son's mom from a memorial? My ex-wife Diana have 3 boys who are 16, 12 and 10. We divorced pretty much after the youngest was born. We also both remarried. She married Christopher and got a divorce last year after 7 years of marriage. I'm still happily married to my wife Jessica. Christopher and my boys were pretty close and they were bummed when the divorce happened. I always got along with the dude. A few months after the divorce, Christopher disclosed that the divorce was over his being diagnosed over adenocarcinoma and Diana not wanting to be his nursemaid or responsible for his medical bills. Checks out. He told me this because he wanted to leave whatever he had to my kids. Unfortunately, he had no family of his own. Obviously I said of course and signed paperwork. A few months ago, I got a call from a social worker saying that Christopher was a few months from dying and unable to care for himself. He gave her my number. Basically they needed someone to help with end of life. He had made me his power of attorney. He was living in a county hospice and my wife and I moved him into our home because he deserved to live his final days in dignity. It also taught my kids about compassion. Unfortunately he died after 2 weeks. He was cremated a few days ago and me, my wife, my kids and a few of our friends are planning to spread his ashes at the beach this weekend. Diana asked if she could attend and I told her to kick rocks. She wanted nothing to do with him when he was dying. I'm not saying Christopher was a burden, but that's really sad that this dude had to reach out to his ex-wife's first husband like he did. It was clearly more her responsibility. I said she can't sit there and let us do all the hard work so she can come in at the end as the grieving widow. My older son thinks I should let her come and I told him to mind his own business and mouth. I'm not going to sugarcoat your mom for you. Your mom is a witch and will be treated the same way she treated your stepdad.
Ida for always letting my middle daughter choose her room/bed first on vacations. My husband and I have 4 kids, Evan, 20, Adriana, 16, Elizabeth, 15, and Michael, 15. We try to travel 3 to 4 times a year. 3 years ago, the night before we were supposed to leave, my friend told us we couldn't use her cabin anymore. We were all looking for new places and Adriana sent a listing for this small town in the middle of nowhere. We ignored it the first few times she sent it, but she eventually talked us into looking at it and it was perfect. We paid a little over $200 a night for a beautiful cabin on the lake with a game room and enough beds to allow everyone to get their own bed. The people were great, the drive wasn't bad, and there was actually a lot of things to do there. It's become one of our favorite vacation spots. When Adriana was 14, we pretty much started letting her book family vacations. She had to run everything by us first, but she was the one that chose where we went and where we stayed. Her only condition is that she gets first pick for rooms/beds. She's even booked an international vacation for us, including flights and a rental car. We've given the other kids opportunities to help with vacations. They all know if they can find a place that we'd want to go to and stay within a budget, they can get first dibs if we book it. The problems are that they have a hard time sticking to a budget, or they're set on a specific place even if it's not suitable for everyone. They'll pick a hotel or rental that's nearly the entire, or over the, vacation budget or doesn't have enough rooms because it has a specific feature. Because of this, we almost always go with Adriana's choice. We recently spent 3 nights in a cabin with 3 bedrooms. 2 rooms had a king bed and an ensuite. Third had 4 twin beds. Adriana chose one of the rooms with the king beds. There was a pull-out couch available, but none of them wanted it. After we left, they were upset that Adriana got her own room and bathroom while the rest of them had to share. I told them they know the deal and that if they can find a place for everyone, stay within budget, and pick a place that we'd all want to go to, they can also choose their room and bed. They say they try, but we always pick Adriana's listings. I told them her listings are usually more practical. We paid a little under $600 for the cabin that we stayed at after taxes and fees. It had so many free activities nearby that the entire 3-day vacation for 6 people came out to just under $1,000. They can't beat it with a $1,800 listing with 2 beds and a single bathroom. They think we're being unfair and should rotate who books the vacations and chooses the rooms, but I just don't have that kind of money to throw away, and I'm not going to deal with the fighting that'll inevitably come when they pick a place with not enough beds or bathrooms.